Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the EGlaze Chronicles. And I'm here with, man, you introduce your own self and tell her what you got going on.
What's happening, family? This is Bobby Jackson. I'm sitting in with the EGlaze Chronicles. I am one of the founders of No Stones Youth Movement. It's one of our nonprofits that we run, myself and my family, my wife Ayenda and the kids. But out of that program came another program we have called Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life. And this is my first book based on that chess program. So my man called and was like, hey, I would love to interview you about your book. And I was like, well, I said, hold on for a second. I had to call Anderson Cooper and told him, hey, pause for a second. I had to, Sean Hannity trying to hit me. I was like, yeah, give me a moment. Yeah. And I was like, all right, let me get with my man, EGlaze. And this is our first interview that we are doing for the book. So I'm extremely proud and happy to be here.
Yeah, we weren't having that. Sean, Sean, you got to go through me, Sean. Talk to me, Bobby, man. Let's start with this, man. Yeah. When did you fall in love with the game of chess, bro?
Man. Whew. If I had a calendar, I'd pull the date for you. It was 7th grade, Brookview Elementary School.
Brookview.
Now, East Point, Georgia. Stand up.
Stand up.
For all my folk who live in Club Candlewood Apartments off Washington Road, Watney Road, we call it.
Yeah.
But this is how long ago it was. This was pre-middle school. This was, so you see, it was 7th grade and I was in elementary school. But I was in the gifted program. And I had a little teacher, a little short Jewish lady by the name of Vicky Shear. Always had wonderful teaching methods. I enjoyed her. But we would get out of class and we would do all sorts of interesting stuff. And one day we walk in this tag class, we call it Talented and Gifted. And she just threw a bunch of chess boards, boxes, and pieces on the table and was like, all right, good luck.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, what do we do with this?
Yeah.
Pre-internet days, so we couldn't Google nothing.
No Google nothing.
Nah, we looked at these paper instructions and we literally taught ourselves how to play this game. It was an interesting sight because you had seen the game on like watching these movies and Sherlock Holmes and Watson and they're doing it, and you just figured this is rich people's game. Nobody's ever gonna play this where we from because we was from Washington Road, South Side, East. We ain't know no better. But it was so intriguing just looking at these pieces and on a checkerboard because that's all we knew. But it certainly wasn't the same game we grew up playing with our grandparents. The checkers, we was like, oh, this is kind of fun. So once we figured out how the pieces worked and what it did, something just kind of moved in me, man. It attracted me, and it was on from there.
So it was on from there.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean? Because no offense, bro. I mean, like you said, chess. Right. We played checker. Checker was that game growing up.
King me.
But chess is that, could you see the Bobbies, the great ones? How long?
Bobby Fishers.
Bobby Fishers, and like you said, it's a rich, the pieces, and I don't know too many people that could afford chessboards.
Well, let me be real honest. It was a rich white person sport. Yes. Let's just call it what it is.
It was.
That's what it was. And I'm in an all-black school, literally all-black school. The only white person I think I saw was Vicky Shear, who was my teacher. But when I say it was on, man, it's something about the game just really, really, I started gravitating towards it. And I caught on a little faster, I think, than the other kids. We had a lot of intelligent kids in there. But this just taught to me. So I started teaching my fellow students how to play the game because they were, well, what is this, Bobby? Okay, well, how's this? It just kind of almost came natural to me. And it got to the point that we had a little in-class tournament and I just wiped the floor with these people. And so Vicky Shear had this brilliant idea. We were going to do a school-wide tournament. And I laughed because one of my best friends to this day, shout out to my man, William Royston, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, A&T grad. We grew up together in Club Candlewood, and we were talking about this whole thing the other day, and he said, dude, you remember that chess tournament we did? I said, yeah. He said, I thought I could play, and you came through and embarrassed me. And so I go to the school tournament, and I just wipe everybody in the schools, and it was like, oh, this is easy money. I had found my niche in life, man. So when I say it was on, I was like, yeah, this is my road here. I got this. So yeah, 7th grade.
7th grade. So when did it become? I always like to ask people this because loving something and enjoying something is one thing. Becoming a passionist is another. When did you know, not only do I enjoy it, but I want to be able to help others enjoy this game as well?
I will tell you, there's a phrase that we use. People have heard it before. It's nothing we came up with, but we use it in the chess world in Name of the Game all the time. one of two things is going to happen when you sit at a chessboard. You're going to win or you're going to learn. So we don't get into losses. You're going to take your L's. And that's when I knew, when I took my L's. We talk about the 7th grade story, and I just wiped through the school and wiped through my tag class, and everybody was, the great, finding Bobby Jackson now. Instead of Bobby Fischer, I was the next coming in this little black community. Well, at that point, Vicky Shear, I jokingly called her Vicky at the time because I was better than her at chess, wanted to take me to a county-wide tournament. Fulton County had a tournament at Riverwood High School.
Okay.
North Fulton, right. So I had to go home, convince my parents to let me out of school for the day because it was going to be a all-day thing. They, I was going to travel, and she was going to take me, and I just had visions of grandeur coming back with this trophy to the South Side.
Right.
Only thing I remember about this tournament was the format and what happened. It was a strange format. That's nothing we don't normally do in chess. Best 3 out of 5. You play a person, first person to 3 wins goes to the next round. Person who loses, go home. Yeah. Okay, all right. And because I'm 7th grade, I had to play through the K through 7 realm. I didn't play with the high schoolers. It was K through 7. And my opponent, notice I didn't put a plural on that. My opponent was a little white kid. Only thing I remember about him, kind of dusty blonde hair, freckles. And if he was 3rd grade, I'm giving him a year. The first chapter of the book is called 7 Minutes of Magic. This kid beat me 3 games in 7 minutes. Wow. 3 games, 7 minutes. It was the most. Now, I was an athlete. I had played football, baseball, basketball, soccer. I ran. I had taken some L's before. Yeah. This was the most embarrassing loss of my life. I never felt this bad after I got whooped. It was embarrassing.
In 7 minutes? Wait a minute.
7.
Not 1 game.
No, 3. So there's
And he was in 2nd, 3rd grade?
He probably was 2nd, to be honest with you. I'm saying 3rd because it makes for a slightly better story because I don't feel quite as bad. But this kid, there's a checkmate scenario in chess, and it's called fool's mate, where you get checkmated in 3 moves. Yeah. Then there's another one called scholar's mate, where you get checkmated in about 4 moves. Right. He hit me with those first 2. So the first 2 games was about 70 seconds total together. So the last game, I kind of figured things out a little bit. Yeah. That one lasted about 5 minutes, but he still embarrassed me. It wasn't close. And on our way home, Miss Shear, she was no longer Vicky. She was Miss Shear now. She was very consoling. It's okay. You did your best. It's your first time. And I'm just sitting. You ever had that look where you're just looking out the window going, yeah. Been there many times. That was it. I was stunned. I get back to Brookview. Linda Beard was my 7th grade teacher, homeroom teacher, and I walked back into class. If we got to the tournament at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, I was back in class at 10:02. It was that fast, and that included the trip. And so she kind of looked at me and goes, well, how'd you do? And she looked at my face and she went, well, it's all right. You did your best. Have a seat. Come on, sit down. We getting ready for math. And I get home that night. My dad asked the same question. Well, how'd it go? And I just kind of looked at him like, and he, my dad, he's a man of little words. Oh, you tried your best. He picked his paper back up and kept reading. But my mother's an English major. And so my mama don't let things ride. Right. Shout out to Hattie Jackson and Robert Jackson. And so we're in the kitchen, she's cooking, and I walk in and she goes, well, how'd it go? Right. And I said, I lost. And she said something that really changed. When you talk about where did the passion hit, she said, okay, I heard that, but what did you learn? And at that point, it was on. I said, oh, okay, this is what I learned. And what I learned was I didn't understand this game. It beat me. It wasn't him. Yeah. It was the game that had me. And I realized I'm not going to let this game beat me. Yeah. And at that point, I began to learn everything that I could about it became a passion. That's an amazing story because you talk about being humbled. Many stories I can tell about going on the track meet, thought I was the best guy. And all I saw was cleats and backs.
So I get that and humbling that. When you took that experience at that age, because a lot of kids might have walked away,
Yeah.
and for you to say, what did I learn, and to take it, what did that help contribute to what you brought to the game now?
I think the first thing that you stated just said humility.
Yeah.
That's the lesson I never forgot. And I think that's probably the creator and the ancestors taught me that lesson first. We're going to make sure you stay humble in everything that you do. So humility is the first thing I learned. You know, it's you have to learn how to take your L's, but you also have to learn how to give your W's.
Yeah.
You know, being a sore winner is one of the worst
Really
things
terrible.
you can do. It's horrible. And so being able to say, all right, let me move through this a little bit differently. That's probably the number one thing I took from it, moving into teaching the game and expanding the game and being an ambassador of the game, if you will. Stay humble, because that's going to take you much further than anything else is going to do.
So we get into the book, and you know, be honest with you, I'm a slow reader, but I do understand the principles. How are you able to tie? And we'll get into the 5 pillars in a minute.
Okay.
But how are you tying real life, name of the game, chess in real life, to the game of chess?
If I can be a little ethereal for a second. Okay, right.
My dictionary.
I don't like to get too like, ooh.
Yeah.
It ain't me. When I was like we played sports and played ball. I was pretty good at football.
Yeah.
I was pretty good at basketball. I didn't really pursue baseball that much because I wasn't that good at it.
Yeah.
I didn't pursue track because I wasn't that good at it.
Yeah.
Anything in my life that I had done that I wasn't automatically one of the best at, I quit. I was like, I ain't doing this. I can be good at football because I'm natural. I can be good at basketball because it's natural. I ain't got to work for it. Chess was the first thing that I said, this is going to be hard.
Right.
And I still want it. That's when I knew, this is my thing.
Yeah.
And I guess as a kid, you don't really think about it. As you get older, you go, I know I can't play basketball forever. I can't play football forever. Chess, I can do this till I'm in my grave.
Yeah.
So being able to say, all right, these are the things that I want to do. Now, how do I transfer that into real life? I have to give credit to 2 people.
Okay.
We'll talk about the other one a little later, but the first one is a brother by the name of Adisa Banjoko. Adisa Banjoko is a founder of what they call the Hip Hop Chess Federation. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu martial artist, lives out in the West Coast. His nickname is the Bishop because how he plays chess. And he tells the story of going out to Pelican Bay. So all those who watch Training Day, Pelican Bay, 23-hour lockdown for you. Anyway, that's the prison out there. And he would go in as part of his give back to the community, playing Brothers Behind the Wall. And he said when he would go back down, this man is an international master. For those who don't know how the rankings run, you have grandmasters, the Bobby Fishers, the Magnus Carlsens of the world. These are the best players ever. And right beneath those, the next level before you get to grandmaster is an international master. So this man, Adisa Banjoko, was an IM. And he said he would go behind the walls and play these brothers who were murderers, rapists, dope boys, arsonists, up for assault, the whole 9. And he said these were some good chess players. Like sometimes I would win, sometimes I would take an L. He said, but what he realized was that they had never learned the rules, to take the rules off the board and use them in real life, which is why they were locked up to this day. And so this download hits, and I get the bright idea that says, well, if we can get in front of this and work with especially children, our youth, before they get behind the wall, teaching them these principles of sacrifice, of positioning, of perspective, how to see things, how to check what's going on around you. If we could get this instilled in them early, then maybe we could turn the tide of some of the stuff that's happening in these communities. So that's where it came from, and it just began to explode from there.
You talk about children and all of that, but it's also something that I see you're teaching to adults as well. How is it being received, name of the game, in the community that you've been able to work in? I know you're in many community organizations and doing a lot of things, but how has it been accepted in real life?
Yeah. You have a vision for where you think things are supposed to go. And again, chess teaches you, get out your own way. It's one of those things. Don't overthink this stuff. And so my vision was we're going to get the children and we're going to save the youth. And then, okay, that's great. That's great. I love it. But the universe had a different plan.
Right.
So, okay, yeah, we're good with the children. We're going to keep that going. But there's a whole other sect of people out here that need you. And I've been fortunate enough to work with VPs and C-suite members, with CEOs of businesses and organizations, with collegiate and professional athletes, and entrepreneurs and business owners, and it has been incredible watching how this has affected their lives. Because the number one thing is when we start talking about chess, everybody wants to come and learn how to play the game.
Absolutely.
And then they hear kind of how we do things, and the game takes off in a whole different direction. I will have to give a special shout out to my girl TC. We used to work together at AT&T. Her husband, Sean Hayes, and she came to me right when COVID hit, and she hit me up and it's like, "Hey, I understand you're doing this chess thing. I'm just sitting at home. I want to kind of improve where my status in life is going." We've been with each other now for about 3 years. She's never stopped taking a lesson, and watching her trajectory on a professional level, where she's moved companies, she's gone vertical. We have a conversation every time we meet about where she's moving in life now. And she's like, I don't do this without this chess program. So being able to see things like that is such a satisfaction, watching people who understand the whole real life aspect of it. I want you to play the game. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to checkmate people and get that feeling of, yeah, I did it. But if you never win a chess game on the 64 squares, I don't care.
Right.
But if you're able to take these things that we're teaching you and open your business, and take these things that we teach you and create a better relationship with your children, if you're able to take these things and move from VP to president, if you're able to take these principles and move your life in a beautiful, positive direction and grow from that, that's the checkmate right there.
So what made you go from teaching and bringing this principle, this idea in real life to a book? What made you finally, besides me clowning you for 20 years?
I told somebody that story the other day. I was like, if y'all have ever watched Family Guy, Stewie is on Brian's head.
Yeah.
And he just keeps going, hey, Brian, you got that book yet? You still writing? You still got it?
Are you coming on that novel you're working on? Huh? Got a big stack of papers there? Got a nice little story you're working on there? The big novel you've been working on for 3 years?
That was Glaze, y'all.
Yeah.
That was Glaze, y'all.
Yeah.
Glaze would see me every day and go, hey, Bob, what's going on with that book? You still writing about the kids? You doing the chess thing? So once I finally finished the manuscript and I was done, I said, this is it. I'm putting it down. Locked myself in the room for 2.5 hours after about 51 years of work. I said, that's it. I'm finishing today. I don't care what happens. You were the first person I called. You were the first person. I was like, Glaze, I did it. How did I get there? I guess we can kind of give credit to the next person. First of all, name of the game. I didn't come up with this.
Okay.
This is something I've borrowed.
Okay.
And I'm keeping a stash somewhere for the person I borrowed it from, because when they finally see what's happening with what they did, I know it's going to cost me. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But shout out to Talib Kweli.
Right.
So Talib Kweli, I'm a huge hip hop fan, always have been, Big Boy and Slim, you know how we did it.
Yeah.
And he wrote a song on the Reflection Eternal album.
Yes, he did.
The Train of Thought was the name of the album. And the song was called Name of the Game.
Name of the Game.
I got to get you the story how we did it. So you remember we playing Xbox, right? The original Xbox.
Right.
On the original Xbox, the big green machine, you could download music onto your hard drive and listen to whatever music you wanted while you was playing whatever game you were playing.
Right.
So I'd be playing, 2K at the time or whatever racing game, and I'm listening to my own soundtrack. And Name of the Game came on, and for whatever reason, it stopped me. Like I was playing a racing game. It was called Project Gotham Racing. This is how much it impacted me. I remember the game. And I pulled my racing car over to the side of the road and just stopped. And I started listening to this song. I immediately logged off, pulled out the CD at the time. We still weren't downloading yet. And I just put this song on repeat, and it just kept coming. It kept coming. And that's how we got to the 5 pillars. The name of the game is persistence, dedication, consistent motivation, resistance to stagnation, and information. And I was like, why is this talking to me like this? And so it was finally I realized, wait, this is how we're going to correlate real life with chess. This is going to be the bridge, the liaison that's going to connect these two things. And that's how it happened. I started applying each of these lyrics from this song into pieces on the chessboard. And once that happened, again, it wasn't me. This was the ancestors and the creator. I got to say it this way because somebody else asked me about this. There are things that have come across my path, musically, entertainment-wise, financially, professionally, and I'm like, I ain't really into that. You know, we're gonna do some songs. We're gonna get you. Okay, I'll give you some lyrics, but I don't really care about that.
Right.
The ancestors, the universe, the creator, however you want to call it, God, Yahweh, Jehovah, whichever name you want to use.
Yeah, whatever you want to use.
Literally, it comes to me and goes, hey, we got something for you. Now, if you want it, it's yours. If you don't, it's okay. We're not going to love you any less. We'll just give it to somebody else. And I was like, no. I think I want this one because I think I know where you're going.
I like this book.
Yeah, this is great. And so the message I got was, all right, if you're going to take this, you got to take it and go. Don't worry about nothing else. We'll handle everything else, but you have to do it all out. And the book was part of that. Okay. The book was part of the whole thing because I needed another medium to get the message out. Yeah. One thing I've learned is I can't be everywhere at the same time. And so the book allows me the opportunity to get the message out about what Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life can do for people's lives without me having to sit in front of them 24/7.
I got to share this. It's funny, me and you both are hip hop heads.
Sure.
You gonna owe Talib Kweli, I'm owe Fonte.
Yep.
That's where Optimize the Vision came from.
I was listening to that on the way in.
Same car. I almost wrecked my car. I'm on a mission to optimize the vision. So to hear your story is like, that's why we connect, man.
That's exactly why.
So yeah, we're gonna be both writing checks. I can't take it from there. It is right there. I mean, right there.
It's right there.
Let's talk about the 5 pillars and break it down to where you don't tell the story so people can buy the book.
Yeah.
But we kind of talk about each one of them. Let's get into it. Persistence.
Persistence, yes. So I'll revamp. So again, I got to say this to the camera. The name of the game is persistence, dedication, consistent motivation, resistance to stagnation, and information. Those are the 5 pillars.
The 5 pillars.
Everybody who takes my class, I will see kids in the mall. I will see people with their families, and I go, "Hey, what's the name of the game?" Right on the spot, and they'll run it off. Persistence. Each piece is represented by one of the pillars. The persistence is the pawn. Just to give you an example, one of the reasons that was done is because the pawn is the only piece on the chessboard that cannot move backwards.
Right.
So all it knows is forward.
Right.
Just straight ahead, straight ahead, straight ahead. That's it. Nothing else. It's the most numerous piece on the board. It's 8. You start off with 8 pawns. And the reason that is because every pawn ain't going to make it. It's built for sacrifice. They know, all right, when we come out here, I'm probably going to get picked off. My buddy probably going to get picked off. And she probably going to get picked off too. But if one of us can make it, we good.
Yeah.
But the whole concept of persistence is just keep going. Because the pawn, lastly, one of my kids calls it, this is their superpower. The superpower of the pawn is, though it's the only piece that can't move backwards, it is also the only piece that can, what we call shapeshift or promote. So if you're able to get your pawn to the other side of the board, you can turn it into whatever piece you want to turn it into. The joy in that is that's how persistence works. If you are moving your life forward, I know it gets daunting. I know it gets frustrating. But if you just keep going, if you just keep moving ahead, straight ahead, forward, yeah, you're going to have to give some sacrifices. Yeah, some people are going to have to fall off. But once you get to that point that you're trying to get to, the world opens up for you. You can be anything you want to be. So that's how persistence works with the chess piece.
Keep it going.
Yeah. Dedication. The rooks, the cornerstones of the board. The rooks are built for protection. They're shaped like little castles, and their primary goal, especially early on in the game, is protection of the king. Now, I say it that way because in the chess world, one of the best things to do is to not move your rooks too early. As a kid, it's one of the things we want to do. We want to get the rooks out early because they move so easy. Straight ahead, side to side. It's an easy move. And it's so easy for kids to learn, so they're trying to get these rooks out real quick, but it's one of the worst things you can do because you leave your king unguarded if you do that. So dedication works the same way. Dedication is, I use this example when I'm teaching the class. If I ask you to go hook up a Ford F-150 to a mobile home and drag it from here to Florida, could you do it? It's not rhetorical. I'm asking.
Oh yeah, 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 with the right
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, with the right stuff,
Yeah.
you can probably get that done. But if I ask you to go over to Scotland and move one of those castles that's been standing since the 1800s or 1700s 2 inches, could you do it? Probably not.
I don't think you can.
Not this. This is going to be difficult to
Yeah,
move
it's
a
a lot
castle.
of work. Yeah.
But that's how dedication works. Dedication is not being easily moved. And so when we get into a role, so I'm dedicated to this or I'm dedicated to that. Okay, well, if you're really dedicated to it, then when I say, hey, we're going to hit this party up. All right, let's go. No, 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 no. You should be like, hey, I'll meet y'all when I can, but I got to get this done because this is what I'm dedicated to. Nah, I can't make this engagement right now. I'll get with y'all next time, but I really got to get this done. You can't be easily swayed when you're dedicated to something. And if you are, then maybe you should question your dedication to it.
Consistent motivation.
Consistent motivation, 2 words. My favorite piece on the board. That is the knight. The knight moves in the most awkward way. It's a really strange L-shaped move. It's the only one that doesn't move in a straight line. It's got to bend. Every time you move a knight, you got to turn somewhere. It's also a superpower. Shout out to my kids. Is the only piece on the board that can jump. So every other piece on the board has to have a clear line of sight in order to move, not the knight. If there's something in the knight's way, it just hops right over it. It's kind of why it's shaped like a knight, a horse. That's what we call it. Now, the reason it's my favorite piece is because of that very thing. Consistent motivation, in a nutshell, means no excuses. First of the year, we're here, where we at, 12th of January now? Most people had their New Year's resolution. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to get better. I'm excited. I'm motivated. We came out of New Year's watch night service, and the preacher had us excited, and we ready to go. And we done listened to Simon Sinek, and we done got all our, we're good.
Amen.
2nd of January, man, we sitting in front of the TV eating chips, like, because our motivation wasn't consistent. And so being able to say, hey, consistent motivation goes, there are no excuses. You tired? Get up and get over it. You want that fried chicken wings instead of that celery you should be eating or them apples you should be eating? Get up and get over it. My mama wasn't there to help me. My dad left. I ain't got the money. I didn't make the grades. Doesn't matter. No excuse matters. Consistent motivation says you find a way or you make one. That's why it's my favorite piece.
Going to resistance to stagnation.
The sniper, the assassin. That would be the bishop. Resistance to stagnation. I give that one, of course, to Talib, but my grandfather, Papa Dolan, he had a statement that says standing water stinks. And so it's almost a warning shot with the bishop. We call the bishop the assassin because if you set it on the board in a particular area, it looks like a big pawn. It gets lost in there. It's very hard to see. I've watched so many chess games end because somebody went, I didn't even see that bishop. I missed the bishop right there. Very sneaky piece. But what it teaches us is if you get comfortable, life is coming to get you. You can't afford to get comfortable. It's easy to do that. Oh, I got this, 88 on my grade. I'm good with this B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got this position that I've been working at for 10 years and this company ain't going nowhere.
Right.
That was personal. You can't afford to get comfortable. You should always be looking to excel, because the moment you do, that sniper's going to be sitting in the corner and it's going to pick you off and you're going to wonder what happened. When I talk about the standing water stinks, that's what happens with stagnation. If we're sitting there and we're just, I'm good, I'm straight, I'm fine, I don't need it, then we get locked off, and I don't ever want to see that happen to anybody, because it does. Your life gets nasty at that point. So that's what that one was really about.
And one of the most important ones, information.
Information is queen. Information is queen. On the chessboard, it's not even a question. In any circle, the queen is the most powerful piece you can have. She moves in every direction as far as she wants to go, as long as there's a clear line of sight. So forwards, backwards, side to side, diagonally. She's a vicious piece. Matter of fact, if you do a point scale with the queen versus the pawns, you can take every pawn that you have on the board, and it doesn't compare to the power of the queen. She's that strong. For us, in name of the game, that's what information is. Information is the most powerful thing you can have. I like talking to children about this and youth about it because I ask them, who is your person you admire the most? It could be a LeBron, it could be an Oprah, it could be a Warren Buffett, it could be, what have you. People come with different things based on levels of success. And I tell them, the only thing they have right now that you don't is information. It's not that they're smarter than you. It's not that they're better than you. They have access to information you don't have yet. So if you knew how to invest XYZ, you could be a Warren Buffett. If you knew how the TV game operated, you could be an Oprah Winfrey. If you knew how to properly take care of your body and shoot a jumper, you could be a LeBron. So getting that information is the first step into whatever level of success you're trying to reach.
So all in all, with the 5 pillars, somebody asked me, could you really learn chess from this book?
Yes, that's a very good point. Now notice a couple of things real quick. Yes, you can. If you just want to say, I want to learn how to play chess, it's going to be very basic.
Yeah.
You're going to learn all the name of the pieces,
Yeah.
how the board is set up, how the pieces move, how they capture, and what a checkmate looks like. So yes, you can learn the game. I even have a challenge when I'm teaching the game live that I can teach anybody, literally anybody, the game of chess in 30 minutes.
Wow.
30 minutes to learn, but a lifetime to master. So you can learn it. If that's all you want to get from it's going to happen.
Right.
But there's so much more once you begin to delve into this that's going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't know chess really moved this way or my life moved like that.
Yeah. Talk to me about this right here, and I want to get this, is before each pillar,
Yes.
there's a name or some initials. Talk to me about that and the meaning behind them. Like you got here, O,
yes.
Namir.
Yes.
Talk to me about those and what people can understand where that's coming from.
So what that is, those are Adinkra symbols.
Okay.
I am a unapologetically lover of Black people.
Yeah.
I love my culture. I love my ancestry. I love my people. And so I do everything I can to pay homage wherever I can. And so each of these, if you've seen it on like different kente cloths, or it's a Ghanaian symbol of the Akan people, and they use the different symbols to tell different stories and represent different phrases and words. And so before each section, I use the Adinkra symbol to represent whatever's happening. So you see Oyo, which is foundational. Then you'll see like Miere, and you'll see Dinkyam, and you'll see these different things that represent each section of each pillar.
Right.
So that's why I did that. I every time you see me prayerfully, you will see something African happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to give me some snippets, checkmate, that chapter. You say, this is a king. There is a king in you.
So let me give you the background on checkmate. Again, it's so many people I have to thank. It's ridiculous. Shout out to my girl Judithia and my girl Shinyere. These are the two ladies who edited the book for me. They were both former chess students of mine. And when I turned in the transcript, turned it in like, all right, this is it. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. The first time I did that, I realized persistence, dedication, consistent motivation, resistance, assassination, information, pawn, rook, knight, bishop, queen. I don't have a chapter for the king. I completely forgot that there's a sixth piece.
Yeah. He's sitting there like, hey.
Yeah, hello. And in name of the game, the king is the most important piece.
Yeah.
The queen is the most powerful,
Right.
but the king is the most important. And the king represents you. And so when I went back, I said, well, I got to go back and redo this. I can't have a chess book without a king chapter. That's ridiculous. And we did it the first time, and it was a rush job. I just was like, I got to get this done.
Yeah, right.
And they both kind of went, Bobby, this book is so great. I love the way it's flowing and da-da-da. And then they said, your last chapter. And they got real quiet. I said, okay. I said, the king chapter. I said, all right, I will save y'all the pain. I said, it sucks. They were like, okay, good. Glad you said it. Because it was like, it was horrible. It just didn't fit. And I was like, okay, great. So I had to go back and revamp that. And I'm glad I did. And I appreciate them for doing that, pushing me to task on that to say, hey, we can do better than this. We can be great. And so coming back to that chapter, and I'm glad it kind of wrapped up. There's an epilogue behind that, but that chapter wraps up the book very well for me because for everybody who reads the book, I do want them to find themselves in every piece.
Yeah.
But especially in the king. That's why we use the who was it? I won't forget. It's a gospel artist right now, but that title comes from "There's a King in You," and I can't remember his name right off. But I need everybody to understand that this game of life is all about you.
That's funny though. Excuse me. I cut that out. You know, that's funny though. You say the king is the most important piece, but it wasn't the most important piece in your book at the time.
Right, and that's interesting.
And what did it mean for you to now to hear people say, you can't mess that chapter up? What does it mean to go? You had to go back and rewriting that king chapter and knowing the importance of the piece. Did it do anything for you? Did it help?
Can I get a little personal?
Yeah.
I realize hindsight what happened with that chapter. Because the king is the most important piece, and because the king does represent you, this was a point when I'm writing this book. It's a point in my life, and I've said this publicly. I didn't like my life. I was not happy with where my life was. I wasn't happy with how things were flowing financially. I wasn't happy with how things were flowing emotionally, mentally. I was struggling. And so I poured everything into the book so I could pour everything into everybody else. And not one time did I go, well, what about you? Nah, forget you, Bob. It don't matter because your life sucks. And I don't really care about that right now. I just want to make sure nobody else goes through what you're dealing with. Right. So if we can get into them. Yeah, dude, but you're struggling. Yeah, I know. But we gotta get this book out. And we gotta make sure people understand it. And it was being able to listen to Judithia and Shinyere to say, hey, you gotta, it's not about just make this a good chapter. No, this has got to be great. It's not going to be, and it mirrored back to my life. Yeah. No, Bobby, it's not good enough for you just to be an author. It's not good enough for you just to be head of name of the game and create this program. You got to be great. Yeah. And so being able to go back and breathe a little bit and go, you know what? Your life is not as bad as you think it is. It's much like a chess game. I've had students that they'll look and we're playing one-on-one at some things that I've taught them, and I'm mopping the floor with them because that's what an instructor is supposed to do. I don't go easy on you. I can't. I want you to earn it.
Nadia said that too.
Yeah, she did. Shout out to Nadia. Appreciate her. She was such a dope student. Yeah. But when you earn it, you know I got it. And so I'll see students and they'll go, okay, this is hopeless. I'm just going to resign. Don't do that. And I'll spin the board. Okay, now you play from my side. You got all the pieces, you got all the position, you got everything, and I'm playing from your hopeless side. And then I checkmate them. Well, you knew exactly. I knew. So it's never as bad as you think it is. Take some time, get the information, learn some things about yourself, about your life, and you'll be surprised where it'll go. It created a beautiful chapter for me. So I'm glad you were able to kind of see that and go, yeah, that was a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, you rushed through the most important piece on the board.
But ain't that what we do?
They always do. We always think the other chess pieces matter so much. We pour into them. But when it comes to the person that really needs to be poured into.
Are we on a time limit?
No.
Okay, I got to say this. Black men, we're talking to you right now.
Look, this is your interview. The whole thing's going on.
So when you nailed it, bro. You nailed it when we talk about pouring into everybody except ourselves. I watched an interview with a lady. She was doing a TED Talk, white woman, author, and she was talking about a book signing she was doing, oddly enough. And she said it was a book she had done about women's studies and the emotional position of women and how people operate with them and their children and business. And it's a good book. So she says a guy walks up to her behind after the presentation at the book signing, and he goes, "Hey, that was a really good presentation you did." And she said, "Well, thank you." And he says, "What do you say about men? As far as the study you're doing?" And she goes, "Well, I don't study men. I study women." He's like, "Oh, okay. He's like, no offense. I'm not, saying you have to. I'm just curious." And she said, "Well, honestly, I don't know if I need to study men because you guys don't deal with the same stuff that we deal with." He said, "You're right. We don't deal with the same stuff we deal with." But his response after that really got me. He looked at her and said, and this was her words. She said, he looks at me and goes, "But it's important." He said, "Because those two women, my wife and my daughter that you just signed a book for, they would rather see me die than to fall off the white horse that they think I ride on.
Wow.
And I went, wow. That is, it was a couple of things that hit me in there. That one, he felt like that's how he was perceived because that's how a lot of us feel. Back to this, there is a king in you chapter. We don't see it. We don't see the crown on our heads. We don't, even in our best bravado, I'm the king, I'm the man, I run this. It's all this.
Yeah, a lot of bravado.
A lot of bravado. But when the rubber hits the road, we feel just as helpless and I can't lose. I can't mess up because everybody in there is depending on me. Yeah. It's probably a falsehood. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes that's the reality of life.
Right.
But to your point about me in this chapter, but if we don't take the time to go back and write our chapter, because ain't nobody else gonna write it. People will applaud you for it. People will support you while you're doing it. But it's up to you to write that king chapter. That's your job. Yeah. Nobody else's. So yeah, when you said that, that I remember that interview vividly, and golly, that's how it happened. Black men, write your chapter.
Write your king chapter.
Write your king chapter.
What does this book mean for you?
Man, I have 4 children.
Yeah.
4 biologicals. And you'll see the.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah. The most beautiful thing I've ever been a part of is the birth and upraising of my children. I've never seen anything so beautiful, and I'm honored to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. This runs a very close second. Mm. It's a child.
Yeah,
it's literally me giving birth. Now, my wife did all the hard work as far as giving birth. I got the easy road on that one. But this one, I dare not say I compare it to birthing pains, but I have an understanding from my own perspective that, wow, this was painful, but it was a beautiful pain.
Yeah.
They say that women kind of jokingly forget the pain of the first childbirth so they can have other children. Because I was like, I'll never do this again. And the moment I got this thing in my hand, I went, oh, I can't wait to work on the second one. So it's been very humbling. I'm appreciative.
Yeah.
I'm really appreciative because when I went back to the whole thing about if I wasn't automatically good at something, I just quit. Yeah. This is one of the first things in my life I've ever completed.
Wow.
I can be very honest. I've been to A&T my first year out of high school. I went to A&T, got kicked out of that school, came back home to Georgia State, dropped out of there, ended up at Morris Brown, haven't finished there. So I've never gotten a degree. Yeah. I've been to a particular job and could have advanced. No, I'm going to leave there. Was working for a particular airline and I'm going to go there. My follow through in my life has sucked. Yeah. So to be able to look at this and go, yeah, we did it. It's done and it's solid and it's here and it's tangible from now till infinity. It's humbling. That's the word I continue to use with everybody that asks me, how does it feel? I'm humble, really humble.
Let's read this part, sir.
Okay, we're reading.
We just gonna read this one page.
Okay, which page we on?
The very first.
Very first one.
Talking about those people on that page.
Oh yeah.
Read through it for me if you don't mind, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the dedication page for
dedication page.
This man gonna have me on here. No, dedication pages are hard. I will say that.
I know. I read it. It was hard for me to read.
There's so many people that you want to thank, but you only have so much room. So the people who are here, the first line, that's why I did that one.
Yeah.
For everyone who has encouraged me along the way, thank you for the push. That's for the Glazes of the world. You got that done yet? Yeah. That's for the Vicky Shears of the world, who probably don't even know how well they've influenced me and what they've done. For the Talib Kweli's and the Adisa Banjokos of the world.
He gonna get here later, but
he's gonna get here. One thing though, I actually got a chance to talk to Adisa Banjoko.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was so cool, just random. The ancestors just aligned this thing. So I'm part of a group called Black Man Lab.
Okay.
Yeah, you know it. And so we meet on every Monday and just have a really good time. Different speakers and things come in. One of my brothers, CA the artist, he's a great dude, wonderful artist. And we just happened to be chatting about some of his art or something one day. And I caught him online, and something we were chatting about online, and a chat came through and was like, hey, man, that was a dope piece you did. And I looked at the name, and it was said, Adisa the Bishop Banjoko. I DM'd. I said, hey, are you the chess player Adisa? He said, yeah. I said, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist? Yeah. Out of Oakland, California.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, really?
Like, yes, bro.
And I said, man, I've set up an entire chess program based on something that I learned about you. And I asked him about the story of Pelican Bay. He was like, dude, that's absolutely true story. He said, that's factual. He said, you did a whole chess program? I said, dude, I'll send you the curriculum. And he gave me his blessing. He was like, dude, that's great. Keep it going. Like,
that's what's up.
so prayerfully, Talib will do the same thing because it's out there now.
Let's get him on your show, Talib. We'll keep going.
Yeah, right. The second one for Shay.
Talked about this before.
Yeah, for Shay and Judithia. Thank you for your hard work and long days. We finally made it. I don't do this without these two ladies. Yeah. I really don't. And I got to say this. So Shay is my wife's little sister.
Yeah, Shay. After I say yeah.
Shay. Yeah, that's Shay is my wife's little sister. I've known Shay since she was middle school.
Yeah.
And Judithia and I went to high school together. Okay. So we were classmates in high school and just have traveled. And what's funny is Judithia and I knew each other before then. We didn't realize we did, but our parents knew each other. Okay. And so that's how we connected. So I love these ladies for what they did. For Mom, Dad, and Shmoove, thank you for helping this little boy grow up. Shmoove. So that is Hattie Jackson, who is my mother. It's wonderful that we're doing the book signing next week. She'll be coming down from North Carolina.
Can't wait to see her.
It'll be right in front of her birthday.
That's
so a lot of her friends will be coming to the book signing, and we're just going to celebrate. Of course, my dad, my namesake, Robert Jackson. I'm a junior. Everybody knows me by Bobby, but I'm named after my father. And then Shmoove. Shmoove is my big sister. That's Shalina Atlas. And I didn't put Paul in there, which is her husband. Because we're both Capricorns, so that's my dude, even though he's a New York Knicks fan.
Don't belong in the book.
Right. You can't have everything right.
Yeah.
But yeah, these have been the pillars of my life since the moment I breathed air on this planet. My mother, my father, and my sister. If anything goes wrong in the world, I know that everything is right over there. I know that everything will be okay if I can go to these three pillars. So that's the dedication. I had to make sure that got to them. For Ayenda, thank you for never giving up on me. Ayenda's my wife.
Yeah.
We've been through some things. She's probably the only person, if y'all can see Glaze's face right now, it's hilarious.
That's why I'm not on the screen. That's why I'm not on the screen.
Because he's been there. Your cousin.
My cousin. Damn,
But she has probably been the only person that's pushed me hard on this book than you have. It's been a nonstop, hey, where are you? When I told you I took them 2.5 hours and I locked myself in the room, that was her doing. I was like, I was done. I was ready to throw the manuscript away. Wow. I was tired. Wow. It's like, I'm not doing this anymore. It's not coming out right. It's not going where I want it to go. I forget it. It just won't make the light of day. And she's like, nah, you've come too far with this. You've worked too hard on this. Get it done. That's it. Ain't no, come on, consistent motivation. Come on, Knight. Yeah. Ain't no excuses. Let's make it happen. And I did. At that point, I came out 2.5 hours later, and I went, it's finished. So that's the dedication there. I cannot say enough about her. Yeah. I cannot say enough about having somebody like that in your corner. We've been together since, she was 16, I was 19. Be careful with those ages, people. We weren't doing anything.
Glad that was 18.
We were dating. Right. But eventually we did get married, have 4 beautiful children. 5 if you want to count our godson, JJ. Shout out JJ, I love you, boy. So that dedication means a lot to me. Yeah. That dedication means a lot. I do not get here without her. This name of the game, No Stones Movement, TSK Prep, the book, none of this happens if Ayenda Kenyama Jackson is not in the picture. So much so, if you look at it, we actually did this on Kenyama Press.
What's up?
The publishing company. We self-published, but her mother wrote a book a year and a half ago. And that was the first book that she did. She did her own publishing company. And so I said, hey, why recreate the wheel? Let's just put it on this. So this is the second book on Kenyama Press. But that's how much that family means to me. For Emma J.
I had to look at that like, who was that? Then I saw the dots in between. I was
Yes, for Emma J. My first chess students and the inspiration for this book. May you carry the 5 pillars in your hearts forever.
I'll break down each name.
Yeah, Emma J. EMMAJ. These are the initials of our children.
Yep.
So our oldest biological child being Ebony, which is the E. Mahogany being the second oldest. Militia being the third. Anwar being the baby boy. And then J for Jeremiah, who is our godson. We've had Jeremiah under our wing since, golly, he was in diapers almost. So I would not have felt right without having them as part of this book because they were literally my test subjects. They were literally my hamsters on this. I taught JJ to play Ebony, Mahogany, Militia, Anwar. They've all been students of mine at our school.
Teachers.
And teachers.
Yeah.
Because shout out to especially Militia and Anwar, who have probably grasped the name of the game concept better than most.
Yeah.
I would feel comfortable leaving it in the hands, especially of Militia. She's a matter of fact, she's an education major at Fort Valley State University right now. I'm not shocked. Teaching is just kind of what she does. Right. But she's also a very exceptional chess player. And you'll read a chapter about them playing in the book. But that meant a lot to me for them to have always, you always want to be the hero for your children.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I wanted to finish this book, when I read, what's his name? Herman Russell's book.
Yeah.
And he was asked one day, well, why did you write this book? And his whole concept was, well, I wanted my children to hear my story from my mouth. If nobody buys a book, I don't care.
Right.
I wanted them to know that this is Dad's story from his own words, no secondhand stuff. And as long as they got it, then good. Now, he sold a lot of books after that, but his primary focus was my primary focus. I wanted my children to be able to see Name of the Game from my perspective, not hear about it from other people who might laud it or who might not like it, but to know this is the trials, this is what I went through, this is how we get here. Emma J, we have a thing up in the house that says one of the street signs, Emma J Lane.
Emma J Lane.
Yeah, so that's who that is.
What's your why, man?
Oh, my why. How many whys can I get?
Okay, let's max that again.
Right.
So what's your why, man?
Let's see. Make it. My why in life, I'm going to move a little past, because the name of the game is part of it.
Yeah.
My why in life is to see people win. That's my why. I've been fortunate enough to be a business advisor at Rice at the Russell Center. And every time I talk with one of my stakeholders or I send an email or we get together, I end my signatures with the exact same thing. Okay, we're doing this, da-da-da. Don't ever forget, I just want to see you win. Where my children went to school, what they majored in, if they chose not to go to school. All right, I got you.
Right.
Here's the plan. What's the plan? All right, I hear what you're saying. I just want to see you win. That's it. Whatever your win looks like. Because Glaze's win is not going to look like my win.
Exactly.
It doesn't invalidate your win any more than it elevates my win. So my oldest daughter, who's a graduate of Johnson C. Smith University, we're HBCU family, bro. She's moving in a direction where her catering is beginning to take off. Yeah. She was a sports marketing major, but she's moving in a different direction. I'm good. I just want to see you win. Yeah. Mahogany is a graduate of Fort Valley State University. She's thinking about going to grad school, but she's a psych major and she's working in gymnastics, which is what she grew up in. And so watching her being able to pour back into the girls like she was poured into is beautiful. I just want to see her win. With Militia doing incredible things at Fort Valley State University right now. I think she's headed to California in a couple of months. Every time they do something education, they send her. I'm extremely proud of her. But if she doesn't follow in the chess footsteps, I don't care. I just want to see her win. Anwar down at Savannah State University. My only son biologically, that he is my clone. He's my twin. And dad never graduated from college. And I told him, I said, dude, you got one goal here. He's like, I know, I got to graduate. I said, okay. But if something happens, you're okay. Because I just want to see you win. I want to see you happy. And that's what winning is to me.
Yeah.
I want to see you happy, healthy, whole, and complete.
Yep.
If you can do that in life, that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a W. I heard a definition of winning the other day that I thought was the dopest. And I've carried it into our classroom now, and I'm really drilling it into the minds of our children. The guy makes a statement that says, winning is being better today than you were yesterday, every day.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fantastic.
That's my why.
It's kind of like winning. People don't realize when you look at them with football. Football's a thing for me. And if the guard is doing what he's doing, and the tackle's doing what they're doing, and the receiver's doing what they're doing, we're all winning.
Team wins.
It's a different win,
Right.
but we do what we're supposed. We all win. Guess what? We're gonna all score a touchdown. We all gonna win. So I adopt that. I appreciate that. I got to finish with this. We'll finish with two things. We'll finish with this one. What's next for Bobby Jackson?
Well, we got to.
Or should we say Robert Jackson? Are you Robert Jackson?
It's gonna always be Bobby. That's just
yeah, because you got Bobby Jackson on.
yeah. I love being Robert Jackson. Again, because I'm named after my father.
Yeah.
And my name means a bright fame shining in battle. It's a powerful name. It's a dope name. So I embrace it.
Yeah.
But Bobby's just my spirit.
Yeah.
It's my energy.
Yeah.
So that's who I've been. That's kind of where I'll take it. But what's next for Bobby / Robert? Well, we got the book signing coming.
It's coming.
And so that'll be this weekend. For those who have purchased the book, you've gotten your links, your invitations. It's kind of a private gathering for those who are the first ones out the gate with me. And again, to celebrate my mom and my dad and my sister coming down. And just bringing the village together because again, I don't get here by myself.
Yeah.
This ain't a Bobby thing on its own. It's just not. I'm a product of a lot of beautiful people. I got it. I am today from a brother named Baba Wakesa. I love Baba Wakesa. He and his wife, beautiful people, and we've had some chess games that we've played before. And he told me, hey, I'm really enjoying your book. I love how you're just giving me these plaudits and da da da. He said, I'll be in Oakland at your book signing, so I won't be able to be there. So that's okay. Thank you. But just let me know when you get back in town because I really want to sign this one for you. And he's like, absolutely. And I said, oh, by the way, the epilogue, the scene in the epilogue with the kid playing with the elder, I said, that was your grandson. Mm-hmm. He said, what? That's a die? I said, yeah. We were at such and such's house. And he's like, oh, I got to get a book for him now. But this is how the book came to be. These are people who have poured into me and didn't even realize what they were doing. So I wanted to be able to bring the village together to just celebrate this. We will be prayerfully having another signing in February at Madu Bookstore in Greenbrier Mall. That's Mama Nia. I went to see her the other day, and she smacked me on the hand because she should have had the first copy. But for those who,
Your hand's gonna bleed a lot.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of bleeding hands. But yeah, I really hope to take this on the road. I really hope to be able to talk to different students, maybe some academia, maybe some companies, just to be able to get in front of people and talk about the name of the game, chess in real life, and how it can positively affect everything that people are doing out here. So that's what's on the horizon for Bobby Jackson. I'll never be too far from TSK Prep. Shout out to TSK Prep and all my students there. That's Tamu Sanakiyama Preparatory Academy, our high school here in Atlanta. So you'll never find me too far from that. I teach chess there on Mondays. That's not going to change. I'll still be working with the Russell Center. Still be working in the community, Black Man Lab, and all of my people. I don't want to change.
It works for the Optimize Division too.
Shout out to Optimize because I'm still on the board.
Yeah.
I ain't been kicked off yet.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? And I owe you some money. I told somebody the other day. I said I do a lot in the community. I love working with people and I love working with the community. But there are only 3 places I contribute financially. Optimize, No Stones, which is our nonprofit, and Next Level Boys Academy. Shout out to Gary Davis.
Shout out to Gary.
And the wonderful work they're doing out there. Because the work with the youth.
Yeah.
If
Very important.
Very important. If there's anything going on with children, youth in our community, I'm not going anywhere.
And don't believe the hype, everybody. There are people pouring into our youth.
Mm-hmm.
We just see the other side, the wrong side a lot.
Yeah.
But let's wrap it up with this, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
You talked about the book. You talked about everything. Now you're time to put and I know you can do it, your sales hat on. Tell people why they need to go get this book and where to go get this book. And, do you. You sold a few things in your life. Sell the king now.
Sell the king. Sell the king. I will tell you one of the things that we learned about sales. Shout out to AT&T. People don't necessarily buy your product; they buy you.
Exactly.
And if I have to sell this, what I will say is, just kind of watch what I do. If you want to go get on my social media, you can find me at NOTG Chess. Mm-hmm. You can find me at Asphalt Griot. Mm-hmm. Just look up Bobby Jackson. I'm the dude with the chess stuff. I'm not going to be too far from that. And just see what I do. Watch what my children are doing. See the fruits of my labor. Watch what my wife is doing. Watch what Black Man Lab is doing. Watch what Optimize is doing. Watch what Next Level Boys Academy is doing. The places that I associate with and the places that I've been affiliated with for years, it's been consistent. And so that is all a product of these teachings.
Pick it up.
From Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life. I don't just write it. I can't take people places I haven't been.
Yeah.
And so I live these principles. I live these pillars. I've had to have those talks with myself in the mirror where I don't want to do X, Y, Z. And I go, hey, consistent motivation, bro. Let's go. Let's get it done. So I would love for everybody to purchase the book. You can get it at Amazon right now. If you catch me on social media, you can get a copy directly from me. If you do it before Thursday,
January 18th.
January 18th.
2024.
Yeah, 20, thank you. I can actually get a signed copy for you. So you can catch me directly. Again, in a couple of weeks, preferably, if everything goes right, it'll be at Madu Bookstore at Greenbrier Mall. Mm-hmm. So a lot of places we're in the conversations right now to get it out into various bookstores and places around the city. I, again, hope to take it on the road. But if you just, hey, I'm in front of a computer or I've got my cart open, go to Amazon.com and just Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life. Look it up just like that. I think it's actually starting to move up in the chess realm now because the support's been coming. But I will say this, and I will say this with all honesty. I want everybody to buy this book. I'm an author. It makes economic sense for me, for people to buy the book. But more importantly, what's really getting to me right now, and I told a friend this the other day, people are buying the book and they're pouring into me. I cannot say thank you enough. Now I want you to read the book so I can pour into you. And it's a reciprocal effect that's happening. So that's my case. That's my pitch. Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life. It is going to alter the way you think about your world in a positive way.
Thank you, Bobby Jackson. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for another Glaze. Thank you all out there, man. EGlaze Chronicles.
I appreciate EGlaze. I love my brother.
Make sure you buy the book, guys. Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life. Bobby Jackson. I love the story of the 5 pillars. You will enjoy it as well. Go to Amazon. Go to Bobby Jackson. Find him and purchase your copy. Have a great day, everybody.
Greetings, everybody. This is Bobby Jackson. I'm the author of Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life. It is a book that I wrote based off my chess program of the same name. And it is set to inspire people. It is set to move people. We've done this class with hundreds of people, CEOs, professional athletes, collegiate athletes, students, teachers, parents. I want it to be a part of your life as well. I believe everything in this book will positively motivate you to move your life to the next level. So if you want to get the book, when you're ready to buy the book, when you're ready to change your life in a positive direction, you can find it at Amazon.com under Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life. You can find me on social media at NOTG Chess on Instagram and Facebook, and contact me directly. I'll get a copy to you. The book is $20, and I want to make sure that not only does it get in your hand, but that it gets in your mind. So Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life.